Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Our host, Brian Duprey, is the world's most sought-after childcare coach, having helped tens of thousands of childcare owners from around the globe take their business to the next level. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, our host, Brian Duprey.
Hello, welcome to the Childcare Genius Training Podcast Series. Happy Friday. Brian Duprey here, your host. And I have a guest co-host today, Kym Pomares from Virginia Beach, Virginia. How you doing, Kym?
I am doing awesome. Thank you.
Well, nice to have Professor Kym on the line with me. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic called knowing your numbers. And Kym and I have been doing financial stuff together for many years, back when I was coaching her. And now that we work together in the Childcare Genius University, it's something that we work hard on with our clients, our coaching students, making sure they know financial numbers. So we wanted to toss some ideas to the audience today about why you need to track things on spreadsheets, why it's important to know finances and know tracking numbers. So let's talk about this a little bit, Kym. Why is it important to track numbers and to know your numbers?
Well, in order to have any kind of clarity on the financial health of your business, you need to be tracking your money, your numbers, so that you can be making decisions based on data. I look back in the early to mid years of my business life, I didn't understand that at all. So basically what I did was I wrote checks until I was out of money, and then hoped some more would roll in before I was completely or in the red. And so it was when I finally learned that I needed to understand my income. I needed to understand my expenses and what I was left with. I mean, that's basically your basic profit and loss. Those are things that you absolutely have to have a grip on to understand your business and not lie awake at night wondering, do I have money?
Good point, Kym. Because when you have a corporation, you have a company and a business, not all that money in that checking account is yours, right?
It's committed to a lot of things already.
A lot of things. And I think that's where people mess up in childcare world is they treat their childcare checkbook like their personal checkbook. Oh, I got money. I can go ahead and spend it. No, some of that's the tax man. Some of that's your employee money. Your rent's in there. Your utilities are in there. Taxes are in there. Your 401k in there. Any deductions, any utilities, any vendors, your Brightwheel, your vendor stuff, your insurance is in there. Your workers' comp is in there. There's probably 40 people with their hands out that want a piece of that money that have earned it inside that tuition. And if you think it's all yours, and that's where people getting in trouble because they're writing checks for obligations that the money is not there. They hope it comes in, but there's no guarantee. And that's where the problem lies. So let's talk a little bit about more specifics. What are some of the things that you would want to track, Kym? It would be important to you.
Let me go back for 1 second to what we were saying. I didn't even know, and I'm willing to bet there are others out there that are in the same shoes that I was. I didn't even know if I had enough income every month to pay those bills. I had never sat down to figure out, okay, this is my revenue every month based on the enrollment I have. These are the expenses I have every month. Is my money, tuition going to cover those? I didn't even know that. So, and I don't think that's that uncommon either. That's something you need to fix immediately. You need to raise tuition, decrease expenses, whatever you need to do to put that in a proper balance so that you have money at the end of the month. But what you're saying, I think you need to be really aware, one, of your tuition, what your actual revenue is, and each one of those expenses, and are those necessary expenses? Can you cut them out? Can you cut them down? If you can't do a lot of that, then how might you create other sources of revenue? Can you add dance classes? Can you add after school art class? Can you for me, those were really, I mean, like I said, I didn't even know when I started the year out, did I have enough revenue to pay my bills every month? So you need to know that, and you need to take steps to correct it if you're in this, operating the way I was.
Good point. So when we first met you, you were struggling. This was 6, 7 years ago when we first started coaching. And so we had a choice. We could increase revenue. And there's several ways to do that. You could, obviously bring in more children. You could decrease expenses. You could lay off employees, cut expenses. There's so many different ways to do that. Or you can look at your vendor, right? You could look at like what I'm spending money on. Is the copier I have, do I need that kind of copier? Do I need that Mercedes out in the parking lot, or can I trade it in for a Nissan? You have to look at some of the expenses you have. And then once you get a firm handle on the actual, like the money left, which is called your profit at the end of the month, once you know you have more money than you have month, then it changes everything. Like you really have a good handle on what that is. And keep in mind, this is 2024. We could be heading to recession, so all the economists are predicting, and you could lose 10% of your kids, 15% of your children, which, if you're struggling right now with enrollment, if you lose 15% of your children, is that going to affect your income coming in? And how will that affect you? So knowing your numbers where you are today will really help position for you knowing what can happen down the road. Are there different spreadsheets you use, Kym, or do you use one for just P&L, or do you have other things that you track too?
So I actually had a very large spreadsheet, dashboard I called it, and every month I put in my P&L, and I had what I budgeted to spend on each item, expense category. And then it showed me, did I meet the budget? Did I spend less than I had budgeted for? Did I spend more than I budgeted for? Same went with tuition. Did I take in more money than I had budgeted? Did I take in less? So every month I was looking at where I was financially and making adjustments all the time based on that. And I kept a running total that would show me, am I on budget for the year, or am I overspending, underspending, my tuition. So it gave me a huge sense of relief to know every day where I was financially, as opposed to, living in that world where I hadn't a clue where I was financially. Going back to that once again, the beginning, not only was I truly didn't have enough revenue to cover my bills, and I was paying for things on credit cards. And as you know, when you met me, I had, I think it was $86,000 in credit card debt. And that's what happens when you don't have enough revenue to pay your bills. You start subsidizing your business with your credit card, and that's a disaster.
Absolutely. And we got you out of that hole pretty quick. No, you got you out of that hole pretty quick. You worked really hard. We got a plan together, and you worked really hard. Now, one thing we're trying to go on this podcast, we're almost out of time here, is the biggest thing is knowing your numbers and looking at that stuff. So I look at my financial stuff every single day. I track all my balances and all my accounts every single day. I know where the money is. The closer you are to your money, the more you're going to know. If you have a bookkeeper handling all your bookkeeping, a CPA does all your tax stuff, and people handling your money, and you don't touch it, you don't look at it, more than likely you probably have less knowledge of your finances and are more apt to getting in trouble than somebody who looks at it each and every day. It's sort of like somebody who weighs themselves every day on a scale is much less chance for them to go overweight, because they're constantly looking at their weight daily. Same thing here. If you look at your finances every day or every week, and you really know where every penny coming in is, where every penny coming out is, and you run it tightly, you will have a much better chance to be more profitable and be in a position where if something bad happens, like a recession, you're going to come out of it much better. So Kym, you would recommend somebody that they track this stuff, they put together a spreadsheet. I know with all of our coaching students inside Childcare Genius University, we give them access to spreadsheets that you created, which helps them. You're amazing at that. We don't offer that outside of our coaching program. But if you can develop something on your own, if you're a listener here, we highly recommend find a way to learn it. Take QuickBooks classes, right? That helps, right? Knowing your books.
Yeah, that's to me, that's a big piece of it is you need to know how to do QuickBooks or some kind of financial software so that you're tracking everything. But beyond that, I use the dashboard so that I could see at a glance every day where I was. And I agree with you 100%. If you have a bookkeeper, you just hand everything off. You can't really have a clue, a clear picture of where you are financially unless you have your eyes on the money.
Your eyes have to be on it. You got to know. I talk to so many people, Kym, and they're like, I have no idea how much money, I have no idea how much profit I make. I have no idea. Just give it to the CPA and he tells me how much I owe taxes in a year. Like I could tell you within a couple dollars how much money I have cumulatively in all my accounts because I check it every day. I just know where the money's flowing in and out. And I have such a good handle on cash flow that I just know how my business operates. And it's such a good position. I go to bed feeling really good at night, knowing that I've got enough in all the accounts and everything is set and fine. So thank you, Kym. I want to thank you for having us join us here today. We're out of time here on this topic. But we want to tell you that if you're struggling financially in your childcare business, you need help, and you want a free coaching call with me, if you're a center owner, I'll be happy to sit down with you and talk a little bit about finances. Just go to childcaregenius.com. Under the coaching tab, there's a button called I'd like a free coaching call. And as long as you're a center owner, you haven't done a call with me in the past year, I'll give you a free call and we could talk for 30, 45 minutes and I'll give you some strategies on how to help get your business in better financial order and do things like Kym here was talking about, track some of that data and get a good handle on it. So this is, I'd like to thank Kym Pomares for joining me today as a guest co-host. We want to thank you for joining into the Childcare Genius Training Podcast, and we will see you next Friday for some more training tips. Have a good day. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.